Good day, beautiful. Matt here, and this is day 2 of 30 days of intuitive eating, created by Megan McElroan with Intention Inspired. And we are just going through this course day by day. I am going through it with you, and we are just doing it, showing up 10-15 minutes to go through these sessions to get a little intentional with our food via intuitive eating. So day 1 was open-minded. That was our intention. And we explored a few different things that we will go over again today a little bit. We have both our healthy habit and our week-long challenge that we'll be revisiting each day throughout this week. But Megan has prepared a special lesson for us each day that we get to unpack with her. And so today, let us unlearn subconscious beliefs that have been keeping us stuck by consciously listening to the body. And now let's dive right into our session with a word from Megan.
Hello and welcome to lesson number 2 in Intuitive Eating Encouraged. Today, our intention is to be more intuitive around food and learn to notice and listen to your hunger and fullness signals. So let's talk more about what that is. We're all born with this innate wisdom inside of us to know when to eat and when to stop eating, and it's called hunger and fullness. And somewhere along the line in life, we stopped listening to it because of weight loss. The desire to lose weight and not trusting that the body knows what it's doing because it's gaining weight. So letting the brain kind of take over and tell you what to do for weight loss, which can lead to things like calorie counting and cutting out food groups and feeling deprived. And so our goal today is not to take any of that away from you. If you want a calorie count, you can, but to have you do something alongside of whatever you're currently doing, which is called intuitive eating. And so intuitive eating really is about listening to the natural signals the body gives us of hunger and fullness. I have a handout that you can look at if you want to, where we have a hunger and fullness scale from 1 to 10. 1 is starving. I mean, I haven't eaten in 7, 8, 9, 10 hours. I'm so hungry. I'm definitely getting hangry, really moody, have low energy. You know, I'm gonna go hunting and to get my own food. That's how hungry I am. I need food now. And 10 is the completely opposite end of that spectrum of I am stuffed. I've eaten way too much food. I can't possibly eat again for another 7 hours. That's how full I feel. And I just don't feel good in my body after eating that much, right? And so our goal is to not go to these extremes. As often as possible, we don't want to get that hungry and we don't want to get that full. And so the numbers 2 and 9 on the scale are still in those extremes a little bit, but not so badly. And our goal is kind of to stay between a 3 and an 8. So 3 is natural hunger. I'm definitely hungry and I need to eat. Not extremely hunger, just naturally hungry. And a 7, 8 on that fullness scale is I'm full. I'm satisfied. I'm satiated, right? I don't need more for hunger. I might want more because it tastes really good or for other reasons. But when I check in with my body, I know I'm full. And that's what intuitive eating is about. It's about slowing down around your food and checking in with your body more to see, am I hungry? And as you're eating, am I getting full and am I full? And one of the best ways you can do that is by slowing down. And that's what the third lesson in intuitive eating encourages all about, slowing down. So we're gonna get into that momentarily, but first, let's talk a little bit more about hunger and fullness and what it feels like to you. So in that handout, you'll see the extremes of 1 and 2 of being really, really hungry and 9 and 10 of getting really stuffed. And then we have like a 3, 4, 5 is natural hunger as you work your way to feeling basically, okay, I'm definitely not hungry anymore, but I'm not full either, right? Like I don't feel like this desire to eat right this second because the hunger's kind of gone away, but you also know you don't feel full. And then as you work your way up that scale from 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7's when you start to feel full. You're like, okay, maybe another bite or 2 and I'll be done. And then you hit that 8 and you're full and you're satiated and you don't feel the need to eat more. Again, you might want to eat more because it tastes good or for other reasons, but you don't need to eat more for hunger or fullness, right? And that's what intuitive eating is all about. It's about slowing down enough and listening to your body more than you listen to the calories you're counting. while it's perfectly fine to count calories and it's really to be aware of them, and I'm going to talk about calories later on in the course, you don't want to go skipping meals or telling yourself you can't eat when you're hungry just because of something that the calories are saying. While if weight loss is a goal, we don't want to overeat calories, it's still better to listen to your body and get really good at listening to your body, because then if you're naturally eating till you're full and then stopping, you shouldn't be overeating calories anyway. And that's our goal, is to learn how to not overeat calories without having to count calories, simply by learning to tune into your innate wisdom of hunger and fullness. So to wrap up, hunger and fullness are signals the body and the brain is sending, right? The brain kind of controls everything, and the brain and the stomach are always communicating. And so when it's been a while since you've eaten and your body's noticing that your stomach and your intestines are emptying out, it'll produce and send out the hormone ghrelin, which is your hunger hormone, your appetite stimulating hormone. And then as you start to eat and start to feel full, once you get to that fullness, your body's going to send out another hormone called leptin, which tells your body you're full, stop eating. And so these hormones, we want to start listening to them, right? They're telling us when to eat and when not to eat. And if we start to really tune into those and listen to them, we can lose weight, or at the very least maintain where you are and not worry about weight gain without having to feel deprived around food, cut out food groups, or skip meals. And so that's your goal today, is to take a little bit of time throughout the day, slow down and reflect on what does hunger feel like to you and what does fullness feel like to you, and then do your best throughout your meals and eating today to eat for hunger and then stop when you're full. And if you have the desire to eat for any other reason than hunger, I recommend talking about it in the journaling prompt area underneath this video, so that way we can discuss a little bit more about it, and I can interact with you and help you through whatever it is that's coming up. All right, in the next lesson, we're going to be talking about slowing down around food, specifically to help you notice your fullness levels while you're eating. I will see you in that lesson. Have a great day.
Beautiful. Thank you, Megan. So if we take a look at the hunger and fullness scale that Megan created for us, we can see different cues throughout the scale of what these different hunger cues feel like between 1, super starving, and 10, super stuffed. So that is pretty handy. Thank you, Megan, for creating that little resource for us. All right, diving into our week-long healthy habit, which is to chew our food as much as possible. Same healthy habit as yesterday. Yesterday, we tried counting 20 chews per bite of food. Today, we're stepping it up. 21 chews per bite of food. And I like to just put it right into action, to just try it out. I feel like that really helps bring the practice into fruition. So if you're with me, go ahead and find a piece of food and we'll go ahead and try it out. So I did just grab a date and peanut butter, but that's what I did yesterday. So now I'm hitting it with these date seed energy nuggets. So good. All right, cheers. 21 bites. You ready? Let's do this. See, with this one, I want to do like 30 chews, because there's like seeds, nuts, a bunch of kind of chewy stuff. So, wow, that's good. Whoa. One thing I've noticed, just like counting the chews really helps bring awareness into the eating experience. And for me, when it comes to intuitive eating, what are just these simple little things that I can do to just bring more awareness around the eating process, as opposed to just like habitually eating? So I've been writing down a few things that have really worked for me. Counting the chews, definitely one of them. Before I start chewing, just look at the food. Whether it's on your fork or in your hand, just take a pause and look what you're putting in your mouth. This pause is so sacred, I'm realizing, in all the ways which makes me think of Viktor Frankl's quote from A Man's Search for Meaning, where he says, between stimulus and response, right? So like something happens and then we respond. Sometimes we just habitually react, but if we can have a pause to respond, in that space is our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and our freedom. So for me, when it comes to my freedom with food, how am I going to cultivate more freedom around my relationship with food? It is in that sacred pause. It's just a moment too. Just a moment, look at the food, check in with the body. And in that pause, I feel like over and over again helps me cultivate this intuitive connection with my food. It's a beautiful thing. All right, diving into our quote, our wise words for the day come from Albert Einstein, who said, "I believe in intuitions. I sometimes feel that I am right. I do not know that I am." All right, if you have your journal handy, time for a little journal prompt session. Our question to ponder and reflect on is, how does eating slower feel compared to eating urgently or mindlessly? Kind of ties in with our sacred pause, huh? Slowly. So go ahead and hit pause on this if you would like to give yourself a chance to journal on this question. How does eating slower feel compared to eating urgently or mindlessly? So if you're with us on the community course platform, there's a bunch of beautiful responses from everyone. They're so fun to read. So thank you everyone for sharing your input over there. For me, eating slower just brings more presence and appreciation and that balanced connection to my eating experience. What Jirka said really resonates with me. She said, it feels like a sacred moment you can gift yourself as opposed to something to be rushed so that we can move on to the next thing. It's so true. It's just a relationship with whatever the experience is makes it either a stressful situation or a sacred, life-giving situation. And for me, slowing down really helps when it comes to creating that sacred connection with my food. All right, revisiting our week-long challenge, which is to slow down so that we can notice hunger and fullness in the moment. And this practice of simply noticing, just noticing, we don't really have to do much about it. With this challenge, at least, it's just the noticing that is the challenge. So notice when you're hungry, when you're full. If you keep eating after you notice you're full, no need to beat ourselves up. But in the noticing, there's so much power there. And I feel like it cultivates that intuition, and change naturally follows because we notice what our body's intelligence is telling us. Not that we have to listen to everything it is saying, right when we notice it, but I think over time in that noticing, we just will naturally start to pair with and merge with what the body is trying to naturally do. And that wraps it up for today's intentional session on being intuitive when it comes to our intuitive eating. Thank you so much for joining us. There is a link in the description if you would like to share what came up for you in this at our course activity feed. Otherwise, thank you so much for just tuning in. Share with a friend if you feel so inspired. If you think someone else would like this journey of intuitive eating, please share it with them. Let's spread the intention. And that wraps it up. Tomorrow, day 3, is our rest day because it is the day that we hop on our weekly community calls, and we would love for you to join us on those. They're on Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Everyone is welcome, and we'd love to chat with you. Megan will be there hosting us, and looking forward to it. So until then, I trust you will have a little more sacred pause, space, tuning into your intuitive body wisdom. Peace and love.